Greetings and great things. It is Q Talks once again, and welcome back to another episode of Black Swan Theory podcast. Please excuse the reflection on my glasses if you are watching this on YouTube. And let's dive straight into today's topic. As always, I have my notes here, and today, what we are going to be talking about is how to know if your intuition is warning you. So, today I put my notes on my phone, and yeah, I'll pretty much be kind of like referencing the notes and keeping the video quite short. So, have you ever, right, had a feeling about someone or something that you just couldn't put your finger on it, you couldn't explain it, but something was telling you to pay attention, right? Today, I'm gonna discuss when our intuition might actually be trying to tell us something. So, first of all, when you have these feelings, right? When you feel wary, you feel suspense, you feel cautious, it's important to notice the feeling before you try to explain it away, right? Your body, our body is very powerful, and we don't realize how much of our body is what we actually use to communicate and receive information more than we use our brain or our mouth, right? So your body can register something before your conscious mind has even had the chance to process it. When you notice tension, you notice yourself feeling uneasy, uncomfortable, heavy, or just suddenly feeling like something is not right, it is important that you don't immediately and automatically dismiss it. It's good to notice it. You shouldn't assume that every feeling, every time you feel uncomfortable, it is your intuition. But like I said, when you feel these feelings, it's important to notice them before trying to explain them or dismiss them. At the end of the day, your intuition might not always give you an explanation, but it will ask you to pay attention. So, the second thing, or the second kind of like advice, moving on from that, is it's very important to learn the difference between intuition and fear. And this is so much easier said than done when we live in a world where, again, we are not taught to pay so much attention to our physical body, the sensations, the things that it is communicating to us. We spend a lot of time thinking about things and rationalizing things, and this can cause difficulty when you're trying to realize if what you are feeling is coming from a place of fear or from an actual gut feeling, from actual intuition. Ooh, one moment, I have a delivery, guys. So back to what I was saying. Noticing the difference between intuition and fear is very important. Your intuition can feel subtle or quiet, but clear, persistent, and observational, whereas anxiety or fear can feel frantic, repetitive, catastrophic, or desperate for certainty. Intuition isn't necessarily loud because intuition is often willing to wait for more information, whereas fear and anxiety wants immediate answers and gets stressed out when those answers are not there. So your intuition might show you something and make you pay attention, right? Whereas your fear or anxiety might make you hyper focus and immediately look for the solution, the answer. So that is the difference, or that is a way that you can tell the difference between the two. And it is important because you don't want to start feeling a lot of things, thinking it's your intuition, when really it's anxiety or fear that's kind of controlling you and causing you to just like react to situations. And it's not easy when you're in that place to recognize that sometimes and to notice the difference or to get out of it. Third of all, and this kind of leads on from what I just said, it's so important to look for patterns, not just feelings, right? So you need to ask yourself when you feel like your intuition is being alerted or warning you of something, you have to ask yourself, has this person, or let's say if it's a person, right? Something that somebody's done that's kind of um, triggered, or there's a word I'm looking for, it's kind of raised your intuition. You have to ask yourself, has this person behaved differently before? Am I noticing inconsistencies in their behavior? Does their behavior match their words? Has this situation repeatedly made me feel uneasy? This helps you to stay grounded without getting lost again in like just maybe the thoughts that your own mind can create, right? Because sometimes our subconscious is recognizing something, it's recognizing a pattern that we have not been able to put into words yet. And it's very important that we don't disregard these things, because our intuition, our gut feelings, these were gifts that we've been given. These are naturally parts of ourselves as humans that we've had since we were children, since we were babies. And these are the things that are there to protect us, even when nobody else is around, right? Even when we can't ask somebody else for advice, our intuition still kicks in to tell us, maybe something is a bit off here, something's not quite right. Or when I look at what's happening here and I compare it to what's happened before, I can make out X, Y, and Z. Last but not least, do not ignore your intuition just because you cannot prove it, right? When you feel something, it doesn't mean you need to accuse someone or make a dramatic decision. It just means that you need to pause, observe, and if you need to give yourself some time or create some space or distance to process what it is that you're picking up on and feeling, then you need to do that. Then that's okay, right? Like I said, it doesn't mean you start pointing the finger. It doesn't mean you start telling people, I know for a fact, blah, 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 or you start trying to look for issues or just worrying that everything is wrong. It's about pausing, it's about curiosity. It's about realizing, okay, I'm feeling something, I'm picking up on something. Before I automatically answer what that is or look for the answer, let me take a moment to figure out what that might be. Because at the end of the day, like I said, these are tools, and these tools are very powerful, especially, if you resonate with my content, if you're a Black Swan like myself, your intuition is probably very powerful, and it can probably give you a lot of insight and guide you and lead you, especially when you need it the most. So, this video, I just want you to take away the fact that learning to trust your intuition, it doesn't mean that you have to believe every feeling you have. Like I said, it means you become familiar and comfortable enough with yourself to recognize when something is asking for your attention and when something deserves your attention. So, if you have ever had a feeling that about something and then you turned out to be right, let me know. Tell me in the comments about times that your intuition was warning you or telling you about something. Because I have a feeling that we have a lot that we can learn from each other in the comments. And by giving our examples, then, you help other people to understand when their intuition might be warning them versus when it's anxiety or when it's like fear. So, this is my installment for you today, my beautiful Black Swan. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for all your love and your support. I always read your comments, I'm always open to topic suggestions, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.